Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Our storm system has moved out and cooler air is arriving. We're starting to see some temperatures in the 30s. I'll show you how long our cooler spell will last.
One person is in the hospital after being shot at by two Holly Springs police officers. Coming up, I'll tell you what exactly led to that shooting.
And breaking news overnight, a person is dead after being hit while walking on I-540 right near Leesville Road. What we are learning this morning about the moments leading up to that crash.
And NC State's women are getting ready to take the court tomorrow for the Final Four and to make more history.
Person that paved the way for women's basketball.
But now today, the focus will shift towards the big matchup.
The Wolfpack women are in their final preparations for one of the most anticipated women's Final Fours ever. Will NC State be the one to ruin South Carolina's perfect season? We certainly hope so. Just one day away from that exciting semifinal. We're glad to welcome you in on your Friday Eve. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, anticipation for certain on Friday Eve now as we're moving towards the weekend and those final four games. Highly anticipated, especially if you're a Wolfpack fan for sure. Elizabeth Gardner over in the WRAL Severe Weather Center right now. We have some big changes on the way temperature-wise, too.
Oh, boy, we had all those strong storms moving through yesterday, and behind it, gradually we're seeing our temperatures falling. Skies are mainly clear this morning. You can just begin to see a little bit of daylight with a couple of patchy clouds there hanging over Sanford this morning. Our temperatures have dropped into the mid-40s in many places. We still technically have a surface wind out of the southwest, but that's going to be shifting to northwesterly, pushing some chilly air in that will feel all the way through the weekend. Wind is going to be an issue again today, even though we don't have any thunderstorms around. Our wind is fairly light right now. The box on the white as we get through the morning should start to show some gusty conditions. We'll be gusting by lunchtime up to 25 or 30 miles per hour, and that'll be the case on through the afternoon and evening. Here's a look at Futurecast. We're mostly clear to partly cloudy this morning. Snow in the mountains. Yes, the ski resorts are closed. I'm sure they wish they were maybe still open, but a little disturbance swings by and brings a few sprinkles from Rocky Mount up towards South Hill and Roanoke Rapids. It's going to be quick. Most of us won't see any rain today. We'll see partly cloudy skies then through the evening. Our temperatures stay cool today, down into the low 60s for afternoon highs, and we stay below normal into much of the weekend. I'll show you how that will feel for Dreamville this weekend. Coming up, Brian.
It is 6:02 right now, Elizabeth, and we're looking fine around the triangle. No crashes reported right now, and seeing very light traffic volume. All quiet in Durham on 885, looking clear in both directions. And as we take you to Raleigh and check in on those sensor readings for the major approaches, not seeing any trouble on 40 westbound through Garner. Just a 2-minute delay as you head in from Wake Forest on southbound Capitol Boulevard heading to 540.
With breaking news we're following right now. Crime scene tape is up outside the Target in Holly Springs, where police have told us officers shot a person there. Nick Perlin is in the WRAL breaking news tracker right now. Nick, we've gotten a lot of new information here in the last hour.
Yeah, Jeff, we spoke to the chief of police about a half an hour ago, and he confirmed a lot of what happened behind me, and he also told us a lot of what led up to this officer-involved shooting behind me at the Target in the Holly Springs Shopping Center. I'm going to step out of the way and show you the scene. Like Jeff said, we still have the yellow crime scene tape and Holly Springs police on the scene, but this is what happened. We're hearing that at around 4 a.m., employees that were working inside the Target at the time called Holly Springs police because they said somebody was acting suspiciously. So when Holly Springs police showed up, they said that that person, who again they say was acting suspiciously, showed a gun. We have confirmed that 2 police officers fired their guns at that person. The person was shot and taken to the hospital. No officers were injured. And at this time, it's still unknown if that person shot at police. So there's still a lot of unknown, there's still a lot of questions that we're still trying to get answered. We're going to stay on top of this for the rest of the morning for you, and we'll have new information later on. Reporting live in Holly Springs, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
More breaking news. An 18-year-old is dead after he was hit by 2 trucks along I-540 East. The WRAL breaking news tracker was on 540 near the Leesville Road exit just before midnight. Highway Patrol tells us a car crashed into the tree line along the 540 ramp. And at some point after that crash, the 18-year-old walked into the middle of the interstate. He was clipped by a black pickup and hit again by a tractor trailer. It's not known if his car was damaged in the original crash on the ramp. We're working to find out if there will be any charges. People have more cleanup to do this morning after a round of storms that took down trees in some neighborhoods. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in Raleigh this morning. Monica, a tree there where you are actually landed on someone's car. Fortunately, no one was in it.
That's right, Renee. Take a look at this damage. This is an enormous tree crushing the front of this car. It's going to be costly for this car owner in this Northwest Raleigh neighborhood. We spoke with that man, Christopher Fredo, who tells us before heading into work, he likes to sit and decompress in his car. He's lucky he didn't because this happened just as the rain was dying down yesterday.
I like to sit in here for a little bit. But right before I chose to just sit in my girl's car and take that out, the tree fell as I was pulling out, the maintenance people were saying, and I barely escaped my life.
Power was also out for a few hours in some places last night, including this area in White Oak and Garner. The Duke Energy outage map does not show any lingering outages related to last night's storm, and we've received no reports of injuries associated with the storms. In Raleigh, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
NC State women's basketball just a day away from taking the Final Four stage against top-seeded South Carolina. WRAL's Brett Neese is in Cleveland with the team where they say they are ready for this challenge.
Good morning, everyone, from outside the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame here in Cleveland as the Wolfpack women get ready to rock and roll into the Final Four. Last night, the NCAA held a welcome banquet here at the iconic venue. Earlier in the day, the NC State marching band and cheer teams got a chance to explore the six-story museum. But now today, the focus will shift towards the big matchup with South Carolina on Friday night. Both teams will hold practices, and I'll be talking to some of the Wolfpack players after that, along with head coach Wes Moore. This is a historic Final Four on so many levels, and one of the biggest storylines is the spotlight that is starting to shine so bright on women's basketball. I got a chance to ask Sanaya Rivers about that and what it means to her.
It's amazing. You know, this is something we created. I'm glad that I can say that one day I was one person that paved the way for women's basketball. It's amazing. It's an amazing time in women's history right now.
I'll have more from Rivers and some of the other players, along with head coach Moore, coming up later tonight. In Cleveland, Brett Neese, WRAL News.
The big day for the NC State Wolfpack men and their fans almost here. The team is now in Arizona, where they will play in the Final Four against Purdue Saturday night. The team arrived at their hotel last night. They signed autographs and took selfies with fans who were there cheering their arrival. They're so gracious with their fans. Coach Kevin Keatts said the team has grown a lot as they made the run through the ACC tournament and now the NCAA tournament.
When we set out to go to D.C., we wanted to have fun. Same thing in Dallas and so far. And, you know, our guys now are learning how to separate, you know, having fun. And then when we need to get down to business, we'll get down to business.
WRAL's Pat Welter and Casey Hintz are in Arizona with the team. They'll be talking with players later today about how they're preparing for the showdown with the 1 seed Purdue. We need your help tomorrow to turn the garden red. Come and visit the WRAL Azalea Gardens from noon to 6:30 Friday and wear red to support the NC State men's and women's historic Final Four journey. The gardens are in full bloom, and there could even be some special surprises in store for those who show their Wolfpack pride. So stop by tomorrow with your Pack family and help WRAL turn the gardens red.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, some really sad news out of South Africa this morning. South African football player and Olympian Luke Floors has been killed in a hijacking in Johannesburg. The 24-year-old was shot while waiting to be attended to at a gas station in a suburb of Johannesburg. After shooting him, the attacker stole his car. His soccer club released a statement saying, "Our thoughts and prayers are with his family and friends during this very difficult time." Floors previously represented South Africa at the Tokyo Olympics. He was 24 years old.
So sad. Vice President Kamala Harris will travel to Charlotte today, promoting the administration's historic investment in climate action. Harris will be joined by EPA Administrator Michael Regan, as well as Governor Roy Cooper. The Vice President will also speak at a campaign reception while in Charlotte before returning to Washington, D.C.
Dreamville Festival Week continues today before the music festival takes over Dix Park this weekend. Fans can stop by a limited-time Dreamville pop-up shop in downtown Raleigh, offering exclusive new merch as well as Dreamville staples. It's open from noon until 7 p.m. You can find it on Southwest Street. There will also be a game night for adults tonight at Kings and Neptunes on West Martin Street. That is free to attend. A district court judge will be on the other side of the bench today. He's facing a DWI charge after a crash in Harnett County.
And also coming up, Renee, many of you are likely having eggs for breakfast, right? You've also noticed egg prices are higher lately. We'll tell you what could drive prices even higher.
And the storms are out of here. We have a pretty sunrise in our forecast, but a disturbance is going to swing some clouds in later today and bring a few sprinkles to parts of the viewing area. I'll show you where coming up.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, nice sunrise out there. Some lingering cloud cover from yesterday. We're going to see that thickening up later this afternoon with a few sprinkles up near the Virginia line. But most of us are going to be nice and dry today with a good bit of sunshine. It's a chilly start this morning. We were expecting these colder temperatures, and we're going to see some mornings in the 30s as we get into the weekend. 41 right now in Lewisburg, 43 Tarboro, 43 Irwin, 43 Rocky Mount. We may see some upper 30s in some spots even this morning, especially near the Virginia line. So dressing for exercise this morning, we're back to, some warmer clothes. And even this afternoon, temperatures will be in the low 60s, which should be really nice for exercise if you're headed out for an intense bike ride or a run. We do have dry conditions in our forecast through the weekend. I'll talk about the cooler temperatures coming up.
Elizabeth here at 6:13. Our live traffic map still looking clear this morning with no crashes showing up anywhere in the triangle. Want to check in on Cary. This is a live look at I-40 at Harrison Avenue. Headlights are westbound on I-40 heading out to the airport. If you're catching a flight at RDU, no trouble right now leaving Raleigh on 40 westbound. 540 westbound out of North Raleigh also is looking fine, and 40 eastbound from Chapel Hill through South Durham. It's a smooth ride to the airport exits, Jeff.
Thanks, Brian. New this morning, aid organization World Central Kitchen is calling for an independent third-party investigation of Israeli strikes that killed 7 of its employees working in Gaza. The aid workers killed on April 1st were from Australia, Canada, the U.S., Poland, the UK, and Gaza. The Israel Defense Forces called the airstrike that killed them a mistake. World Central Kitchen founder Jose Andres has accused Israel of systematically targeting the aid workers.
A district court judge who is facing a DWI charge is due in a Harnett County courtroom today. Jason Kimball was arrested back in September after a crash in Lillington. Police say a breath test came back with a blood alcohol level of 0.23. That's almost 3 times the legal limit. Arrest warrants also show a child under the age of 16 was inside the car at the time.
Eggs are a staple in many households. Matter of fact, a lot of folks maybe fixing eggs right now for breakfast this morning. Lately, though, you've probably noticed egg prices, they're going up again. WRAL's Ken Smith has a look at what could make things a little bit worse. Ken?
Yeah, Jeff, we're talking about a bird flu outbreak at a poultry farm in Texas, and we've seen the effect this can have on egg prices. Let's talk about the current numbers right now. Back in February, the average price for a dozen eggs was around $3, up from about $2 in the fall. Egg prices are now at their highest level since April of last year. And adding to the eggflation concerns, a bird flu outbreak at one of the nation's largest egg producers, Cal-Maine Foods. But experts caution the risk to humans remain low.
It's highly dangerous to humans, although it has never been shown to be easily transmissible between people.
Well, Cal-Maine Foods forced to destroy more than 1 million hens and young chickens as a result of this bird flu. For perspective now, another bird flu outbreak last year pushed egg prices to a record $4.82 a dozen. By the way, Cal-Maine Foods, a Texas facility where the current outbreak was detected, produces eggs for brands like Eggland's Best and Land O'Lakes. And Jeff, we should remind people that transmission between humans to human still very low.
Yeah, we're pretty resilient to it, but the birds, it only takes one in the flock.
Exactly.
And it spreads throughout the whole thing, so really dangerous deal.
And they have to destroy the whole flock.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Exactly. Ken, thanks.
This morning on Today, the growing movement to take the shame out of weight loss and promote a healthier lifestyle.
We have to take away this shame and blame that goes along with a lot of this idea of dieting.
Obesity is a killer in our country. Is that true?
Obesity is currently our largest epidemic in our country today.
Today airs at 7 right here on WRAL.
Take a look at this tribute to DJ Burns. It is now on NC State's campus. This mural is in the Free Expression Tunnel, done by Sean O'Rourke, the Philadelphian, well known across the nation for his arts. He's done some other things on campus as well. The man behind the artwork outside the Tally Student Union back in 2022 as well. But that is just fantastic.
So wonderful to see all these tributes popping up across the triangle for the Wolfpack, including our own tribute here at the WRAL station with our tower all lit up in red, Elizabeth.
That's right. We're so happy to celebrate our women's and men's teams over there at NC State as they head off to the Final Four. So we have our tower lit up. We have a special event in the Gardens on Friday, tomorrow in the afternoon. Come on by, wear your NC State red. We're going to turn the Gardens red tomorrow, so be sure to come on out for that. And of course, on Saturday is when the men play at 6:09. Our triangle area forecast for that, it's going to be pretty pleasant with 60 degrees around 6 o'clock under partly cloudy skies. So if you're headed out to a watch party, our weather should be fairly nice. Of course, it'll be pretty nice and warm in Phoenix as well. Here's a look at what's happening right now. This is the low that helped to bring us the cold front that brought the severe thunderstorms yesterday. That's moving on out, but there's a second front sitting over the Great Lakes that's rotating some moisture around. We're going to see some snow in the mountains this morning and into the afternoon, and that will eventually send some cloud cover our way today. Here's a look at Futurecast. Mostly clear with a couple of clouds out there right now. But as we head closer to lunchtime, notice how the clouds begin to thicken up just a little bit. We'll see partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. And then a little bit of rain starts to slide in just to our northeastern counties, just briefly. Most of us are going to end up staying dry, but just a little bit of a quick shower there. After that, we settle into a nice quiet pattern. No more rain in our forecast for really the rest of the next 7 days. Mostly sunny for Saturday and 62. So the cooler air continues to hang around starting today all the way into early next week. Lots of sunshine on Sunday in Raleigh there for Dreamville Festival at 66 degrees. Then on Monday, the big question is who is going to see the clouds and who won't along the path of the eclipse. A lot of folks are from here headed to Ohio. That's where our closest viewing area is. Of course, New York as well. But it does look like a system could bring some cloud cover along the path of totality, not just for Ohio, where maybe a lot of people in North Carolina are headed, but all the way along it. Watch this. This is the forecast for Monday at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And you can see some cloud cover here for Ohio, some clouds in New York. It looks a little bit clearer there, but we're going to be watching that very closely because if it is cloudy, you won't really get the full effect. Now, hopefully we're going to end up with some sunshine here, but we only get about a 75 to 80% coverage in terms of what we end up seeing. So it looks like the sun's got a hole, got like a bite taken out of it. It's still really cool to see, but we don't get into the totality here. Of course, once we get into next week, our temperatures start to climb a little bit. We'll see highs in the 70s Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, Brian.
6:20 right now, Elizabeth. We are just getting reports of a minor crash in downtown Raleigh on Peace Street near Capitol Boulevard. Not seeing any big delays just yet, and it looks like it's a fairly minor crash, but I'll watch the sensors and let you know how that's looking. Elsewhere, our major approaches in Wake County are looking fine as you head into Raleigh, and in Durham right now, we're not picking up any big problems as we take a look at those sensor readings. All clear in both directions of I-40 and also on I-85. We're not seeing any big problems. Remember, listen to WRAL News Plus on the radio 24/7 at 99.3 FM in Raleigh, 96.5 FM in Durham. And as you're heading to work or school, you can listen to our live news, weather, and traffic alerts.
Durham Public School District is getting closer to finding a new superintendent. The steps school leaders are taking today to move their search another step forward.
Scotty McCreery wants his fans to understand he is a proud member of Wolfpack Nation. How the Final Four is affecting his concert schedule. Coming up in What's Trending.
Here, take a look at your winning NC Education lottery numbers on your screen right now.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
All of Wolfpack Nation getting ready to watch the team's Final Four games Saturday night.
And one superstar fan is even changing his show schedule for it. It's Brian Schrader here now with What's Trending, Brian.
This is commitment to the Wolfpack.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Scotty McCreery was supposed to be on stage in San Diego at the same time that NC State is playing Saturday night. He coordinated with his fellow performer Lee Brice to switch their show times. McCreery now is going to be able to go to the game in Phoenix and then fly back to San Diego in time to perform later that night.
That's what friends are for, thanks to Lee Brice. And then also, the time zone differences, so he can make it back and still perform. But no way would he miss it. He's 30 years old. He did go to NC State, a huge fan, and never before in his lifetime have the Wolfpack men gone on to the Final Four, so he is not going to miss this opportunity.
He's being up front with his fans also, just telling them, look, here's the deal. So I think rather than just not showing or showing up late and having some lame excuse, just throw it out there.
Yeah. A good excuse.
This is what I'm doing Saturday night. Roll with it. The Matrix franchise is getting a 5th movie. Warner Brothers confirmed yesterday that the next installment in the franchise is in the works, but we don't know yet if Keanu Reeves is returning to play Neo.
Yeah, he's been in all of them, right? And Neil Patrick Harris, you see him there in the latest iteration. We don't know if he's going to be in it. Priyanka Chopra, don't know if she's going to be back in it as well. But we'll wait and see. The Matrix franchise rolls on 5 now.
I feel like you got to have Keanu in it, in The Matrix.
I agree.
And the guy has not aged. He's a vampire. Like Brian.
Brian, yes, thank you. You have to see how last night's game between the Rangers and Devils started. Right there. Drop them, boys. All 10 skaters on the ice brawled immediately from the opening faceoff. 8 of them were ejected. These teams haven't gotten along all season. Several fights in their previous games as well, but some old-time hockey in the arena.
It's going to be a blustery day for it today. Even though the storms are over, we're still going to see some winds gusting 25 to 30 miles per hour. I'll show you how much cool air those winds will bring in coming up.
And breaking overnight, an 18-year-old is dead after he was hit while walking on I-540. What we know about why he was on the interstate just before midnight.
WRAL Breaking News Tracker is in Holly Springs right now, where police are outside the Target right off Highway 55. Nick Perlin is there as officers investigate a shooting.